Good afternoon. My name is Filomena Barreiro, and I'm coming from the Polytechnic Institute of Bragança in Portugal. I am a chemical engineer, and here I'm going to present some of the results achieved within the project Chemistries All Around network. We did the work Students' Motivation to Study Chemistry, Some Insights into the Portuguese Case. So let's start to put in context this problematic of the motivation to study chemistry. As previously stated several times by my colleagues, chemistry is universally assumed as one of the most difficult and demanding science subjects, not only because it is recognized as involving difficult concepts, but it uses specialized terminologies, and more importantly, because it is structured on mathematics. Moreover, some chemistry curricula are considered quite apart from students' interests, everyday life contexts, and the technological issues. And so, in this scenario, context-based chemical education approaches and ICT-based teaching resources have emerged as valuable strategy tools to promote students' motivation. I have to say here that in the Portuguese educational context, these strategies are being already followed. As we can see by this picture of this book using the 10th and the 10th grades, that is chemistry in context. Also, I have to highlight that the Portuguese government have made a strong investment since 2008 to equip schools with informatic means to help the use of ICT-based teaching resources in the technological plan for education. So in this work, I'm going to give a brief overview of the Portuguese situation, focusing three main points: chemistry in the Portuguese educational context, analysis of some national reports and initiatives, and analysis of the chemistries all around Portuguese teachers' opinion, following a meeting that we have performed within the context of this project that we are participating. So, considering the chemistry in the Portuguese educational context, the pre-university school system in Portugal is organized in three sequential levels: the pre-primary educations from age 3 to 5, the basic education with typical ages from 6 to 15, that is in fact organized in three cycles: the first cycle grades 1 to 4, second cycle grades 5 to 6, and the third cycle grades 7 to 9. And then the secondary school with typical ages from 15 to 18 and grades 10 to 12. School is nowadays compulsory to the 12th grade. I have already focused some of the positive aspects of the Portuguese educational system, and now some main of the weaknesses. Chemistry has only one full dedicated subject in the 11th grade. According to the curricular reformulation in 2004, physical chemistry A course has been created in the 10th and 11th grades, and has substituted chemistry as the specific subject needed to university admission. According to this measure, chemistry became an elective and optional course during the 12th grade. In the last curricular organization performed very recently, in this year precisely, the chemistry weekly teaching time in the 11th grade has been reduced. So here I present, I summarize the previously stated, and also I have included the chemistry-related courses here. I can say that chemistry science subjects started to be introduced at basic education in the course of environmental study. Then it proceeds with natural sciences, and in the third cycle with physical chemistry sciences. In secondary school, we have physics chemistry A, as I previously mentioned, and chemistry, that is in fact an elective, an optional subject. In the last column, we can observe the whole time related to the subject. It's not the time dedicated to teach chemistry. That in fact it's 100% wholly in the 12th grade, that is an optional subject for students. Now I'm going to speak a little bit about the analysis of some national reports initiatives. We have chosen two studies, either because they have been performed or sponsored by science-related societies or by the National Council of Education, but because they have involved large samples and also because they have been done at national level. So you have chosen the white book of physics and chemistry that was dedicated to students at the 9th, 11th and 12th grades. I must say here that the 12th grades was analyzed based on a sample of university students that spoke about its previous experience during the 12th grade. This study was published in the 2005. The other study was the motivation of Portuguese youth to study science and technology in higher education, that was published in 2007. And it analyzes more the motivation that students have to study science careers, to go to science and technological careers. I must highlight that, to the best of our knowledge, there are no recent studies, at least with this dimension, performed with so big samples. So some conclusions, starting with White Book of Physics and Chemistry. They have concluded motivation to study chemistry was not very high for the students at the 9th and 11th grade, but it increases slightly for university students. For secondary students, the main reason pointed out for the lack of motivation were the difficulty of the subject, the characteristics of the manuals, the dependence of this science towards mathematics, as I previously stated, and the difficulties to apply knowledge in problem solving. In the case of university students, the main reasons for not attending physics or chemistry at the 11th year was the fact that these courses were not specific for their careers, and the potentially low final classification might difficult university access. In what concerns the motivation of Portuguese youth to study science and technology, we have chosen two main conclusions. One is that students' performance on mathematics at secondary level is important not only for choice of science and technology careers, but also for the degree of satisfaction felt during their attendance. The ability to recognize that mathematics is fundamental to support science careers is crucial for the accomplishment of future life objectives in the election of science and technology careers. Continuing now with the chemistry, making an analysis of the chemistries all around network Portuguese teachers' opinion, starting with motivation. The first point corroborates what I have already said, that the Portuguese teachers are concerned about the present situation of chemistry. The fact of the time to teach chemistry is being constantly reduced, and chemistry has only one dedicated subject, and it is elective, even elective during the 12th grade. Other positive points that they think it could motivate students to study chemistry are laboratorial activities, the use of everyday life examples. Moreover, it was recognized and pointed out several times by our teachers that to motivate students, it's very important to have a motivated teacher. And the use of ICT-based resources was also considered important. Considering the school environment or facilities, it was consensual among the Portuguese teachers that the Portuguese schools are generally well equipped as a result of the strong investment made by the Ministry of Education according to the Portuguese Technological Plan for Education. Nevertheless, some teachers report the lack of background knowledge to take full advantage of it. Particularly in the case of primary school teachers, a lack of background preparation to teach experimental sciences was systematically pointed out, as well to use ICT-based resources. As so, experimental science teaching training for teachers of these early levels, school levels, are highly recommended and welcome for teachers. Concerning the last point that we have analyzed, the use of ICT-based resources, Portuguese teachers generally prefer use simulations. Italy, they like to use these simulations, but accompanied by an orientated guide and file a checkout questions. They don't. They would prefer to use protocols and to give an orientation to the student of what to do to achieve the goals. Ideally, simulation should be followed by experimental practice at the laboratory. PETH was one of the most used and most popular resources when used by the chemistry Portuguese teachers. Moreover, they seek and they are concerned about using validated resources. At least they feel more, they told us that they feel more comfortable if they choose resources belonging to well-recognized institutions. In that view, the project that we are participating, Chemistry All Around Network, was welcomed. Continuing in ICT-based resources, teaching resources could, the teachers, Portuguese teachers, have pointed out that teaching resources could not be seen as a teacher's substitute. They have highlighted that the Portuguese students, they like the contact with the teacher and privilege the contact, the direct contact with the teachers, and it's what they like most. Long movies and other non-interactive resources should be avoided. Short, non-interactive resources are only recommended to be used as an introductory motivation element or to introduce a specific subject. And now I have to thank you for your attention.